Hi, everybody, and welcome to Love Fraud Live. Sociopaths are manipulative, controlling, and intimidating. So, when you're leaving your sociopathic partner, it's best to be slick about it. I'm Donna Anderson, author of LoveFraud.com and host of the True Love Fraud Stories podcast. Tonight, I'll explain 10 crucial strategies for leaving your sociopathic partner. At the end of my short presentation, I'll answer your questions. To be notified of all my upcoming YouTube videos, please hit the subscribe button. Okay, let's get started. Escaping sociopaths, and that means antisocials, narcissists, and psychopaths. Escaping them can be tricky. Some disordered partners are violent, but even when they're not, they're usually really good at controlling you through emotional or psychological intimidation, making it hard for you to leave. If sociopaths sense that you're pulling away, they'll either charm and love bomb you until you change your mind, or they'll lash out at you and make your situation worse. Therefore, your objective is to escape before your sociopathic partner realizes what you're doing. So here are 10 crucial strategies for leaving the sociopath that will help you to get away and stay away. Number 1, very important, keep your mouth shut about leaving. Do not announce to the sociopath that you are leaving, unless you say this all the time, which I'll explain in a minute. But don't tell anyone who may disclose your plans, either intentionally or inadvertently. This includes your kids, your family, and anyone who talks to the sociopath. Here's number 2. Don't accuse the sociopath of being disordered. Now, you may have finally figured out the reason for your partner's outrageous, confusing behavior. He or she has a serious personality disorder. You may be dying to shout, "I know what you are." You may want to say that your partner was the problem all along, not you. Don't do it. It will blow up your secret plans. Here's number 3. Do not change your own behavior. Sociopaths are very observant. Your partner studied you in order to seduce you, and if your behavior shifts at all, he or she will notice. So keep behaving as you always do. If you're quiet and submissive, stay that way. If you always fight, keep at it. Do not give your partner a reason to wonder what you're up to. Here's number 4. Get copies of important paperwork. If you're married and have assets with your partner, like a home, bank accounts, retirement accounts, or vehicles, make sure you get copies of important paperwork. Once a separation and divorce are underway, sociopaths tend to make property and accounts disappear. You'll need evidence before that happens. Here's number 5. Hide money. Even if your partner has drained your accounts and taken control of the finances, you're going to need money to leave. So figure out how to squirrel it away. Maybe don't tell your partner about a raise or a bonus, or get a side hustle, or sell personal items. Stash the funds in a safe place. Here's number 6. Assume that you are being tracked and recorded. Surveillance technology is easy and cheap, and sociopaths love it. They may install keyloggers on your computer, trackers on your car, and hidden cameras in your house. Be careful about what you do or say wherever you may be compromised. Now, if you find a surveillance device, don't confront the sociopath. Remember, your goal is not to arouse his or her suspicion. So here's number 7. Buy a burner phone. If you share a phone plan with your sociopathic partner, he or she may have access to information about your calls and text messages. So to protect your communications, get a burner phone. This is a cheap, prepaid mobile phone that you can buy with cash. You can also get a burner SIM card with a different phone number to install in your existing phone. Here's number 8. Create a safety plan. If your partner is violent towards anyone or anything, and that includes kicking the dog or punching the wall, he or she could turn that violence towards you. And someday you may be forced to flee. So arrange shelter in advance and prepare a go bag of essential clothing, papers, and medicines for you and the kids. Now here's number 9. Do not underestimate the sociopath. If you think your partner would never do that, think again. Sociopaths have no heart, no conscience, and no remorse. So, when the sociopath lashes out, he or she may drain your bank accounts, or kidnap the kids, or sabotage your car, or lie to the police. All bets will be off, so plan accordingly. And finally, here's number 10. Seek support from resources who truly get it. Sociopaths do not play by the rules, but unfortunately, many therapists, lawyers, and advocates don't understand that. They also don't understand how you get trapped into an abusive relationship or how it affects you. So, if a support person doesn't seem to believe you or offers unworkable advice, move on. After you successfully escape, make sure that you stay away. Now, this can feel extremely difficult if you've developed a trauma bond with your disordered partner. So, here's how that happens. Relationships with sociopaths are highly addictive. So, even when you know the sociopath is bad for you, you may still feel a powerful desire to return to the relationship. You must resist. That's why no contact is so important. The longer you stay away, the more the sociopath's emotional and psychological grip on you will release. But if you give in and have any kind of contact, you may find yourself back in the trap. So do not reach out to your ex. Block everything. Figure out a way to distract yourself so you can overcome any urge to talk or text. Choose yourself and stand firm. I believe that you are stronger than you know, and by focusing on your emotional recovery, you can create a life that is peaceful and satisfying. So, that's the presentation for tonight. If you need help planning an escape, reach out to me. I can also help you understand what happened and overcome the emotional pain and betrayal. For more information, please visit lovefraud.com/talk to Donna. On another matter, I want to make sure you know about the True Love Fraud Stories podcast. I interview people about their experiences with sociopaths, and then I talk to experts on the topics that come up in their stories. So you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube and YouTube Music, or on Love Fraud at lovefraud.com/podcasts. And finally, please subscribe to Love Fraud Live here on YouTube. When you subscribe, you'll automatically be notified about all my new videos. Plus, by subscribing, you'll boost the distribution of Love Fraud Live, so you'll help to spread the word about all the dangerous sociopaths who live among us. If you'd like more information, you can also subscribe to the Love Fraud newsletter. So you'll find many helpful links in the window below this video. And now I'll take a look, see if, well, there's no questions at the moment. So let me continue a little bit. One of the things that I didn't say in the presentation that I'd like to discuss now is the timing of leaving. It's usually, or almost always, best to leave the sociopath when he or she is not at home. So I can tell you a little bit about my personal experience, which was a little bit different. I was with my ex-husband in Florida. I don't live there. We went there for a business opportunity, or what he claimed was a business opportunity, which of course was fake because he was a sociopath. But anyway, at one point, my ex-husband was flying back to our home, and as I took him to the airport, we had a fight, which we usually did, and then I came home and discovered that he was cheating on me. So I decided in that moment that it was over. I wasn't going to have anything further to do with him, but he had already left on a flight and was going back to my home that I owned before I met this man. And I didn't want him to trash my house. I didn't want him to go through things. So what I did is I didn't say a word to my ex-husband. He called, and of course we had a fight before we left, so he called and said, "Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "Yes." "And are we okay?" "Yes." But in the meantime, I was already packing everything up to leave. And I didn't tell him that I was doing that, that I was leaving, until after I knew that he was on the plane coming back to Florida. So, and it was kind of wild because at that point I didn't know he was a sociopath. Nobody was talking about it. This was back in 1998, and so I just kind of did all of this instinctively. It turned out to be the right move. But anyway, so I ignored him for a couple days as I was driving back, which was like a 3-day trip or something like that, and finally turned on my cell phone and had all these messages from him. So I finally decided, from a hotel along the road, to call him back. And, the first thing he said was, "It's not what you think." Now, of course, what I had found was evidence that my husband was cheating and had a child with another woman during our marriage. But he's saying, "It's not what you think." And I'm like, "It's not? Well, what is it?" He says, "I'm friends with a lesbian and I was doing her a favor." And I'm like, okay. But anyway, then he started the pleading routine and, "Don't leave me, we love you," and all this other stuff. And I would say for about a nanosecond, I considered going back. But then I quickly realized that, since he had wiped me out financially, I wouldn't have the money to leave again. So I kept going, which was the right decision. But anyway, I actually did not have the trauma bond experience, because when I first found out what my ex-husband was doing, that he was cheating on me, my first reaction was relief, because I was already emotionally done with the marriage, and I was staying essentially because of the commitment that I made, my wedding vows. And so my first reaction was, now I can leave. And so that was good for me. So I didn't have the trauma bond experience, and I do recognize that many people do. I mean, there's a rule of thumb that it often takes somebody 7 tries to leave an abusive relationship. Mine was financially abusive, but not physically abusive, and of course all the emotional and psychological abuse, but I was never physically injured. But still, I didn't have that experience, and that would be an interesting research project to figure out, why some people become trauma bonded and others don't, because it definitely did not happen to me. Okay, so it looks like we have a couple questions or comments. Jennifer says, "Thank you for your channel." Great, okay. All right, so, and Claire says, "I loved listening to your book. I also threw my ex out so he couldn't further sabotage me." Well, that's great. I'm glad. And so, yeah, Jennifer comments, wow, friends with a lesbian and did her a favor. Unreal. Yeah. In fact, it was funny because many years ago, I was interviewed for a TV show, about my experience, and I told that story. Oh, she's a lesbian, and I was doing her a favor. Well, the whole crew burst out laughing, at the TV taping. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, one other thing that I'd like to talk about is to make sure, as I mentioned previously, that you know about the True Love Fraud Stories podcast. We just posted a new one yesterday, which was called He Told Me He Was a Good Christian and a Military Hero. I heard those before. My ex-husband claimed to be a military hero. Of course, that was all fake. But anyway, this is, I mean, I love all the stories that we do in True Love Fraud Stories. And in this particular one, the heroine of the story, who I call Patricia, not her real name, but anyway, she does a really good job of explaining how the experience affected her emotionally and what it felt like, to be essentially deceived and betrayed, by her sociopathic husband. And of course, she didn't realize he was a sociopath in the beginning, but none of us do. So that was, she does a really good job of talking about that. Okay. Oh, and Jennifer says she's been listening to the stories, have been enjoying them so much. Great. I have more in the works. There is no end, unfortunately, to the trail of destruction that sociopaths leave behind. So they'll keep coming. Okay, that looks like we don't have any questions at the moment. So I thank you for joining me again for this show, and please be sure to be here next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the next episode of Love Fraud Live. Thanks a lot, everybody. Good night.